Peace, a show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region.
Good morning, I'm Dub Craig. Welcome to the show. A little bit later on, I'm going to be speaking with Lisa Dotzler of the Northern Lights Choral Society. Their members are hard at work preparing for their winter concert, which is set for Saturday, January 17th at 6 p.m. at the North Peace Cultural Centre.
And I'm Caitlin Coombs. But first, the Peace River Regional District has been exploring a replacement for the North Peace Leisure Pool here in Fort St. John for almost a decade. Last year, the City of Fort St. John took over the project, forming a committee to explore a new facility. This committee includes members of staff and two city councillors, Trevor Bolin and Sarah MacDougall, who are joining us today to give us an update on where things are now. How are you two doing today?
Great, thanks.
Wonderful. So, Bolin, I'm going to pick on you first.
Okay, I'm used to it.
You were on the PRD's steering committee for the pool, the one that was formed back in 2017. What happened during that time? What prompted this to get transferred to the city? Just kind of give us a preamble to what's been going on.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the committee started out as the replacement committee, which was made up of course, Fort St. John, Taylor, Area B, Area C, and open to the regional district. Mm-hmm. During that time frame, of course, COVID hit. So, you know, going into 2020, the actual committee was shut down under what was happening in the not only the local market but nationally. When the committee reconvened in 2023, I will guess, it was back to work on a lot of the things that we had heard in the beginning, but it was back to the communities about what they look and see this project can be. So we had picked it back up from that point in time. Long story short, it became very apparent at our last pool replacement committee meeting under the regional district that things weren't going as quickly as what residents felt it should be. I, with the blessing of council during a previous meeting, then removed Fort St. John from the committee, ending the terms of reference for that group. So from there, it was 8 years of unfortunately not a lot happening, but some great public engagement. So you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that was there, and that was a big part of where we were. And then in the 8 months or 7 months, I don't even know how long it's been that we formed a City of Fort St. John committee, of course, with Sarah and some amazing staff. We've been able to fast track it right up to, site announced before Christmas, before the year ended. Big thanks to the proponents that gave that site. I mean, their heart for the community, the health and the recreation of our children was enormous. And now yesterday was kind of a sneak peek that we rolled out on Facebook, of course, of what an overall, design looks like. And it was met with great encouragement. It was met with some phenomenal comments, and we're going to discuss it at Monday, and then from there is what does that design look like, and that is where we are today.
Perfect. Sarah, so both of you are on the committee. You've begun gathering feedback from residents, as Trevor said. We saw some presentations from user groups before this. What feedback did you receive during that meeting, and how did that kind of inform the presentation that was announced? I believe it was yesterday when the agendas were put out.
Yes, so during the user group presentations, we just had a couple user groups from both the pool and other areas of the community come to us and say, what are your needs? What do we need to build the new facility, or what does it need to look like so that we're meeting the needs of the community now and into the future? And so we had swimming come, we had soccer come, we had gymnastics come, and they were able to give us some insight into what they need to both meet the needs currently that they have, but also into the future, because we want to build this for the future. We don't want this to just be something that's going to last 10 years and then be too small going forward.
Especially because I can imagine it's going to be, we don't have an exact number yet, but it is going to be an expensive facility, as all things are these days. You don't want to build it and then by the time you're finished, you have about 5 years, but you have to start a new one.
Exactly.
Well, and that's a good point, Caitlin, because part of the process when we were doing the public feedback was asking our residents, what do you feel you can afford, right? Not how much money do you want to spend. It was what can you afford, because at the end of the day, anything the city does is going to it's going to adjust your taxes. So residents came back and that kind of that mid number was that $40 number, right? Was we could afford $30 to $40 a month. So, versus taking a design and just saying this is what's going to happen. As Sarah mentioned, it was meeting with the user groups. It was getting the feedback we needed. But the entire time was going, okay, this is what our threshold for dollar is, right? So trying to do a $300 million facility that's going to add $800 a year in taxes is already not going to work. How can we set this project up for success so that everybody in the community benefits?
I think the Inconnu Swim Club said it best when I was there and we were listening to their presentation. They said they would love to have an Olympic-sized pool, but that's not realistic.
Agreed.
So they kind of adjusted that, and that's kind of what everyone wants to do. We all would love to have a massive facility, but we have to think about the population, how much it's actually going to get used. It would be amazing to have it, but if there's only like 5 people who are going to use it, then kind of what's the feasibility?
And that's the biggest thing. When staff worked hard to design, the facility of the future, the numbers that this is based on is population 2050, right? So when you look at it's already being viewed as a 2050. The existing pool is not very old. It was extremely difficult to get built. It took a couple different referendums to happen and some maneuvering with other communities. We don't want to see that again. We want to be open, transparent, upfront. Here's the cost you're comfortable with. Here's, as you said, here's what we would love, but here's what we will live with and enjoy. And that, honestly, I believe is what Sarah and my role were in being on this committee and putting this forward.
Okay. And obviously, like you has said, it's only been a couple months since the city took this on. There's no budgets, there's no blueprints announced yet. Have there been any firm decisions or parameters other than that $40 that have been kind of set in stone at this point, or is it still kind of all forming?
No, I think the biggest ones were the field house, right? We heard very loud and clear that the existing is not meeting the needs. Right now, soccer is also in the curling club. That agreement is going to come to an end. Soccer is in the field house. So we needed something that could offer year-round sport. I think too in some of the designs that we had done, that not only can be used for soccer, but it can be used for spring warm-ups and spring startups of other sports and ball and lacrosse and all these different things. I think the other thing we heard loud and clear was if we can't go with a Olympic-sized pool, make it Olympic-sized width, right, as far as the lanes go. So, I think we added 0.7 of a meter or 0.5 of a meter to each of the lanes, going with an 8-lane. The 3-lane was another big one.
I think that's a big one, is that we heard loud and clear that some, especially younger kids, don't like the really cold lap pool for lessons. And so in addition to that 8-lane pool, we're going to have a 3-lane lap pool, which will be a warmer temperature. We'll actually even have 2 lanes in the leisure pool so that the really young tots can be in a warmer pool while they're doing their swimming lessons. And I think on top of that, we have some communal spaces like a meeting room, a multi-purpose room that folks can rent out, or even a cafe in there that can be a meeting place for the whole community, that people can come together. Maybe folks who are new to the community can meet new friends there. So it's really going to be a hub for everyone in the community and not just a pool or just a field house. Okay,
so we're kind of talking about it as though it's just a pool, but you're trying to really hard to make it, as you said, kind of year-long. So it's kind of more of a recreational facility that includes a pool.
I think Sarah's saying a hub is big. We had a meeting yesterday before this was announced in the afternoon, and staff went out to all of the different departments in the city of Fort St. John. So, I mean, not only the user groups, but they went to, the pool staff and said, what do you see that's not working, or what do you see that works that we should implement? If you look at that drawing, phase 2 has an outdoor soccer pitch next to what would be the proposed indoor. The ideas around that is to have large, maybe 14-foot clear glass overhead doors on that west side of that indoor field house. Open those up in the summer. You've all of a sudden got both the outdoor and the indoor. You've got full soccer tournaments while you've got the pool happening, while you've got the meeting rooms happening. So you know what? There's been a massive amount of takeaways, and it was on us to then be able to say, how can we still make this fit inside the scope that we've always had, from the community.
Yeah, because it would be ideal, like we've been talking about, to have this incredible facility. But not only do we need to pay for it, we need to staff it. We need to justify it for numbers through the doors, everything like that. Okay. And you talked a little bit about kind of outreach and feedback. Who are you looking to hear from now that you haven't heard from, or are you just kind of continuing on?
I think honestly, just general comments from the public will be the biggest thing. I mean, this didn't really come as a surprise to anybody. I mean, they've seen some preliminary designs when we hosted one of the events at the pool a couple years ago. So folks kind of had an idea what we were looking for. And at the end of the day, this was built and designed, or will be built and is designed around their feedback. It wasn't Sarah and I sitting around saying we need to have a field house that does 11 by 11, 9 by 9, and 4 by 4, right? Because I think at that point in time, it was as much of a surprise as to how many different uses there can be to what the design was. So really now it's about open, it's about transparent. It's Q1, which quarter one of this year is going to be huge. Not only is there the peak at the design, now we get into the final details. We're going to come out with costing. We're going to come out with pricing, in gearing up for an October referendum where the residents of Fort St. John then truly have their say.
And it's good that you brought up the referendum because it's also coming at the same time as the municipal election. So people,
It is?
people will be very, very busy. Things will be on their mind. Votes. What will people be voting on? Who's eligible to vote? I know I've seen some questions online where people are asking if they rent in the city, can they still vote on it? Kind of help us clear that up a little bit. What does the referendum look like and who is eligible for it?
Great question. So the referendum will come alongside the provincial election, or the municipal election, as you say. You never know.
No.
So similar to the current election rules, any resident of the city of Fort St. John is eligible to vote. And so that means whether you rent, whether you own, you are there to vote. So you'll be voting for both city council and mayor, as well as that referendum question.
Okay.
Which hopefully, in hopes, it wasn't planned like this, but the timing worked out perfect. So, historically, we see quite a low turnout for municipal elections. So in hope that this also now brings more people out to get involved, not only on the municipal level, but also on the referendum. It's going to be a very simple, straightforward question, around the amount of money that needs to be borrowed in order to build this facility. So honestly, get out, vote, and have your say in a pool, because those are both going to come, that following spring.
Yeah, we're excited to see those big numbers of voters come out.
Yes.
Be great.
Definitely. Because, of course, like you said, voter turnout on the municipal level. And I think the provincial level in the past one was a lot higher, but still a little bit low.
Agreed.
If they're not necessarily caring about the election side, everyone cares about the pool, and everyone has lots of conversations and opinions online, as you guys have probably seen.
And if you're going to be there, you might as well kill two birds with one stone.
Exactly.
Right?
Perfect.
And it does save a lot of taxpayer dollars actually doing it this way. If we were to run the referendum as a singular election, that would be tens of thousands of dollars. And so this way, we're really killing two birds with one stone, like you said, but saving taxpayers a lot of money.
Okay. And like we've been talking about, the agenda for Monday, January 12th meeting has come out. Staff will be giving a presentation to you guys, kind of listing through the things that we've seen. Can we expect this topic at city council meetings more increasingly as we head into October? I
think so. I think what you'll find now that we've got kind of a preliminary design, we already have the location. I think this will be the opportunity that Sarah and I, during our updates, can then let council and the public know, what has happened. We meet weekly. We've been meeting weekly, sometimes twice a week, sometimes twice a day, in order to get ahead of the project and be where the residents feel we need to be. So from here on out, it's an open discussion. It's transparency. It'll be nice when we come down to the price. I mean, it's not always about price, but at the end of the day, we know groceries are expensive. We know fuel is expensive. We know everything has gotten more expensive. So, I think our real task was in hearing from our residents of wants versus needs. One of the biggest comments were, don't spend so much money on the outside to make it this great big Taj Mahal. Let's focus on some of the inside services and features. And I think when you look at the Tot splash pad and a lot of the different kind of, in the list there that I had, the design doesn't show it right now, but there's going to be a lot of features and functions inside where that money is spent. A parking lot that will fit every user in there regardless of what they're there for, which we don't see in a lot of current facilities. So really, honestly, if I were to say where this came from was listening to residents' concerns, listening to their hopes, listening to their dreams, and coming up with all of that, meeting a price point that people can say yes to, because at the end of the day, that's their decision, that's their choice, and we really want to make sure they have the information they can to make that decision.
Okay. And a lot of the details are up in the air at the moment. We've got a couple that are in I believe the presentation called it phase 1. But do you have anything you can say just to give people an idea of what they should expect? Or is there anywhere that you would direct someone who's curious about this, who may not have seen your post, Trevor, or go to the council meeting on Monday? Where can residents go to see what is currently kind of on the thinking brainstorm table? And is there anything that is set in stone?
We're going to launch our website or webpage on that on Tuesday. So right after the council meeting, the day after the council meeting, you'll see that. You'll be able to go to the City of Fort St. John website and find that page. All the information will be there.
Perfect.
And honestly, I think too is ask your councillors, right? Like that. I mean, we say that all the time, and it almost becomes redundant. But get a hold of your councillor and ask them, what they see, what's been planned. Check it out online. Of course, we've got lots of different social media sites. You guys with a great show like this, probably one of the second best in the history of Moose FM. From there, I think everything is up in the air until the final design is done. So, we may even be 3/4 of the way through a design and realize something might work better or something might be more affordable. And I know the hot tub's a big one. And this is going to be, we're not even calling it a hot tub anymore. It is a hot pool, right? We've heard and read from the residents of their disappointment with the existing North Peace Leisure Pool hot tub being closed and cemented in. From that too was how can we make sure this facility in 10 years, how can we make sure we can fix a problem, right? All of a sudden we're ensuring that our piping is not encased in concrete, that there's open access to it. We're ensuring that, our hydro room and steam room are on a separate level where there's dedicated space for it. We're not putting a water slide outside because that was one of the lessons learned the first year we had to insulate that because it froze solid. So it's as much of planning for the future as it is basing it on the lessons we've learned from the last one. So I think it's going to be something that Fort St. John can be proud of. I think it's something that generations for decades will enjoy, and I'm really excited to see what the final plans look like and work with Sarah on this throughout to the end of it.
Absolutely. We're excited to do that background work to get it right the first time. This is going to be a great project.
Well, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us today, you two. And I look forward to seeing it first on Monday and then looking at the website on Tuesday. I think that'll be great for people to look at.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. That was Councillors Trevor, Bolin, and Sarah MacDougall. We'll be right back with Lisa Dotzler of the Northern Lights Choral Society on This Week in the Piece.
If you're heading into the backcountry, you should be thinking about proper boot care and fit. Blisters happen, but backcountry reminds you with a little bit of homework they are avoidable. Today's boots have almost no break-in period, and you can prevent blisters by keeping your feet dry. If you've purchased boots and have some hot spots, stop by backcountry before your next trip and speak to the boot experts about different lacing methods. You'll be amazed at the difference. Backcountry, where we help you enjoy the great outdoors.
Hi, I'm Bob Zimmer, your Member of Parliament for Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies. I'm honored to work hard for you and be your voice in Ottawa. If you need assistance, please stop by my Fort St. John office at 9916 100th Avenue. We're open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or call 250-787-1192. We look forward to seeing you.
Wow, delicious.
Wow,
It's all you can eat every day at Ming's. Locally owned for over 40 years, Ming's Kitchen is serving up a delicious smorgasbord every single day for lunch from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and again for dinner from 5 to 8 p.m. Come and check out their brand new space in their newly renovated building and enjoy their amazing selection of mouth-watering dishes. They're all you can eat smorgasbord every day from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and again from 5 to 8 p.m. at Ming's Kitchen, now in their new location on 100th Avenue in Fort St. John.
You're shopping around for an automobile? Come see Fort City Chrysler. You're trying to find the very best deal.
Looking for a fine pre-owned vehicle? Fort City Chrysler has cars, trucks, minivans, and SUVs, four-wheel drive pickups, and diesels too. Many with remaining factory warranty. And they're all quality inspected and ready to go. At Fort City Chrysler, you're buying from your hometown dealer. No pressure, no hassles, just honesty and integrity. Only at Fort City Chrysler, only in Fort St. John.
Our name says it all. King Cool Refrigeration and Air Conditioning. From AC installs and walk-in coolers to HVAC systems, furnace maintenance, and more. We love to keep you cool and warm. King Cool's variety of services are the perfect fit for the industrial oil patch sector, your local residents, and for regional businesses. Make sure you're comfortable all year round. Call King Cool Refrigeration and Air Conditioning today. 250-787-1688. That's 250-787-1688.
Step into the world of Aurora Collectibles, where your next great find is waiting. From One Piece, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Lorcana, to sports cards, figures, Hot Wheels, Lego, video games, and so much more. Discover the magic of Aurora Collectibles, your Bandai Namco store in Fort St. John. Stop in today and ask them about the weekly mystery box drop. Aurora Collectibles, 10404 101st Avenue in Fort St. John. Follow them on Facebook to see all the latest.
You can watch this show live on Facebook, catch the replays at energeticcity.ca, or be part of the show by texting your thoughts to the Fort City Chrysler line at 250-787-2222.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Dub Craig. The Northern Lights Choral Society represents 4 different choirs of varying age groups in the Fort St. John area. The choirs are set to perform together for their winter concert called Arctic Echoes on Saturday, January 17th at 6 p.m. at the North Peace Cultural Center. So joining me now is the Vespera Adult Choir's musical director and member, of course, Lisa Dotzler. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us. Let's start with the society itself and kind of what you do, what the society does in general. What is the Choral Society?
Well, we're a community-based choral society, and we have choirs from little ones, like kindergarten, all the way up to seniors. It's really fun to get together and sing together and perform in different things like our the community, like Remembrance Day, and sometimes Christmas things, or wherever we get called.
Yeah, I think you do 3 or 4 performances a year, depending on kind of the year and what's required. And it's everyone's usually involved in all of them, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I know you're a teacher, so I don't know how well you can answer this, but the way it's divided up, tell us first a bit about that, if you can, and sort of why it needs to. Well, maybe not it needs to, but why it is that way, that the kids are sort of taught differently than I suppose the adults are.
Well, we have the little ones, and they are a little bit rambunctious, so we want to get them to move, but also learn about fundamental music ideas like our solfege and note reading. Of course, they don't do too much note reading at the start, but learning how to blend our voices together and how to actually sing. Some of them are learning just how to match pitch, which is awesome. They're learning all these things fundamentally at the beginning. And then as they get older, now we're doing 2-part harmonies, like maybe singing in a round when they get a bit older. And then as they head up to the Aurora group, that is, the reading music, and they're learning more complicated music so that they can grow and learn as they get older. And then when we get to our Vespera, which is our adult choir, we have parts, and then of course if you can't read music, you can sit by someone who can, and you're working together, which is awesome because everyone's welcome.
Yeah, well, I think that's a big thing. You say everyone's welcome, so even if you have no formal music background, I mean, you can learn something and be a part of and I mean, work on your skills as a singer, can you not?
Absolutely. And there's opportunity also if someone's like, I really want to try a solo. You may not want to perform that solo, but I always like to give opportunity to give everyone a chance to go for it. Like, why not?
Especially, and I'm thinking of the adults who, and some of them, right, as you said, there's people all the way up to senior citizen aged people in the choir. I mean, we kind of all sing, and everyone kind of knows how to sing, even if you don't think you can. When you're working with someone who's brand new, is like interested but maybe is unsure, how do you kind of approach that in terms of, you may not know anything about music, but you actually do, and it's sort of less about teaching and more about, well, let's show you that you actually kind of know what you're doing already, I suppose. Is
right. I have people come in and they're not sure where they sing. Am I an alto? Am I a soprano? Do I sing bass? Do I sing tenor? And I pull them aside by themselves. So they're not feeling like, oh, I have to sing in front of everyone to figure out where I'm supposed to sing. And I pull them into another space to work with them to figure out where they feel like they could fit. And some people start in one section and they realize, oh, this is not working for me, and they can move to another section. But also just singing, like just do it, because everyone tells me, oh, I can't sing. Oh, I can't sing. It's like, actually you can. We're made to sing. We're the only animals that can make music. So let's do it.
Wonderful. Why is choir good for you,
Oh my
Lisa?
gosh. Why is it good for
And
us?
take as long as you want to answer this question.
So, when we do things together and we're a partner, like, I don't know, there's something like magical that happens when we're all singing together and we make this beautiful sound. And we're in it together. I don't even know how to describe that feeling after we're performing some pretty hard pieces.
Yeah.
And we've worked hard. Some people were like, I don't know if I like this. And now it's like, it's becoming like magic. And just that work that we've gone through, like that hard stuff, like, I don't think I know my note, to, wow, I don't even know how to describe this magic that happens, but also the endorphins that you get, there's so much satisfaction in that.
And even for kids, I suppose, there's lots of other skills that you can kind of learn that's beyond just sort of singing and pitch matching, as you say. A lot of it having to do with working together in a group, right?
Well, a lot of them are like, oh, they want to say their parts and like speak out loud about something. And we have that opportunity, but also, okay, now we all have to work together. We have to listen. We can't run around the room. We need to come back together and work together. But there are movement breaks for the little ones. As you can imagine, they need that, right? But they're learning so much. Music does so much for our brain. There's so many studies. Anyone can Google that, and you're going to be finding lots of information.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a bit. We'll talk later about joining the choir. Probably not a good week to join because your performance is coming up next Saturday. But tell us a bit about that process. You started a whole new slate of music to start kind of preparing for this concert, kind of in September when the choir reconvenes, eh?
Yep. So what happens is there's actually not just me that I'm not the only artistic choral director for the adults. I do that also with Nicole Wakefield, and then Rihanna Morris. How do I say her full last name? I just call her Rihanna. She does the children, and then we have different accompanists, and so we get together in the summer before choir starts, because we need to have some songs to start on the first week, and we try and pick things that everyone's going to enjoy, but also some challenging pieces, so that we're not just singing like easy, oh, this is fun, easy. We need some challenging pieces to develop our skills, our ear training and whatnot. So we do that, and we pick some also Remembrance Day pieces so we can have that ready. And then, like, we've already started working on what we're going to be doing starting next week.
Oh, okay.
Like the week after.
You're rehearsing for the next concert kind of in a way already.
Planning, yes.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I suppose in sort of challenging yourself, but also doing, as you say, maybe recognizable or easier or whatever we want to call it, you're sort of setting that up for the audience who comes to see this concert too, in that you're going to like some of the things we have that you're going to recognize, but also we're going to challenge you a bit with stuff that you may not recognize, but look at how wonderful this piece is that we've put together for you.
We're actually really excited too, because we're trying to last year we worked with dancers and we just love that collaboration. So we actually have some stringed instruments in our concert this term, and we're very excited to hear how that will all pull together. Plus, see if I say his name right, Darcy Sawchek, photography. He's putting together a whole array of pictures and his photography, maybe some movement ones as well, that what do you call those when they're moving, time-lapse ones, and those are going to be in the background. We're very excited. They're beautiful.
So there's also going to be a bit of a visual experience as part of this as well. How wonderful.
It's going to be beautiful.
All right, and I have to ask, I mean, again, the choir is sort of split up between the kids and the adults. You guys do a few numbers kind of where everyone's going to be in the room, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have the little ones often they need to sing by themselves because they're so adorable, as you know.
They're the stars.
They're the stars. And then and we try and incorporate some pieces where they're either together with another group or all together as a whole group.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. All right. Well, I know you can get your tickets now at npcc.bc.ca or check out the box office at the North Peace Cultural Center. And do get tickets. It's going to be a wonderful show. If someone's listening now and they're like, I could be in choir. I don't know how to sing, but I could be in choir. I believe you're sort of doing another intake kind of now to sort of set up for the next performance, correct?
Yes. And I can't tell you exactly when that next performance is, but we're starting the following week. So what is that week? January the
19th or something like that.
The 20th is our first. We meet on Tuesdays,
Yeah.
and the little ones start at 3:30, and then we have different start times for every age group. So that can be checked on our website. And yeah, we're getting ready. So you're welcome to start. I think registration is open right now.
Perfect.
Yep. So that people can get on there.
The adults also meet Tuesday nights at
Yes,
the Cultural Center.
that's right.
Okay.
We all meet.
Perfect.
On Tuesdays.
You happen to have that address, the website in front of you? It's okay.
It is right here. I had to do that because I would forget. So www.thenlcs.ca.
Absolutely.
So stands for the Northern Lights Choral Society.ca.
Yeah. And you're also very active on Facebook, Northern Lights Choral Society, FSJ, to check out their
and on Instagram.
And
at
on Insta.
Northern Lights Choral Society.
There you go.
I have to read it.
Lisa, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us this morning. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. That's again Lisa Dotzler with the Northern Lights Choral Society. Well, that's our show for today. We want to say a big thank you again to City Councillors Sarah MacDougall and Trevor Bolin for joining us. And thank you for tuning in.
You can listen to this show again by checking out the podcast at energeticcity.ca/podcasts. We'll store this and future episodes of the show there as we make them. Also check out our other locally produced podcast, Before the Peace, as well.
That's our show. I'm Dub Craig.
And I'm Caitlin Coombs. We'll see you next time.
Join us again next Friday morning at 10 for another edition of This Week in the Peace, your weekly talk show dedicated to the people, events, and news of BC's Peace region. Or you can listen to this podcast